And Joe Biden made a number of statements this week that should make constitutionally concerned Americans very worried. First of all, he came out and said that if he gets to be the president of the United States, he will do everything in his power, he says, to mandate face masks. So face masks will be a federal mandate, he says. I'm Dr. Duke, and this is Constitution Corner. Well, Donald Trump is, as the president, almost what anything Donald Trump says, anything he does is going to have a constitutional impact. So it really is important, as we say as we conclude, it's really important not just to know your Constitution, you got to live it. Because the president of the United States, almost by virtue of what he says, what he does, the legislation he vetoes or doesn't veto, his opinions, the pressure he puts on those people he decides to pardon with his presidential ability to do so, he is making constitutional history. So the president is living always, or should be always living, the Constitution. And what I want to talk about today is the degree to which they don't. So up in the news now is the fact that Roger Stone has been pardoned by Donald Trump, and the left is losing their mind. This is unconstitutional somehow. This is a violation of the republic. This is anti-democracy. This is somehow a fascist act, which is just ridiculous. The bottom line is the president has the ability to pardon people, and there's nothing in the pardoning of Stone that is unusual. In fact, this shows you the hypocrisy of the progressive left, if you ask me, is the degree to which Obama used the pardon much more than Trump has, even after 4 years. Look at the number of times that Donald Trump pardoned versus Obama, and you'll see that the Obama pardons are much higher, much more random, much larger number of pardons, including something Trump has never done, pardoning an actually convicted terrorist. He did that, right? And so when you think about the use of the pardon, which is a presidential right, all the people who are griping now about Trump, of course, had nothing to say about the ubiquitous pardons of the Barack Obama administration. But we have to deal with this now because we have a Barack Obama administration vice president who is fixing his eyes on the presidency. That would be Joe Biden. And Joe Biden made a number of statements this week that should make constitutionally concerned Americans very worried. First of all, he came out and said that if he gets to be the president of the United States, he will do everything in his power, he says, to mandate face masks. So face masks will be a federal mandate, he says. Now, the question is, does Joe Biden know what that means in his power? Does Joe Biden even remember now, with his clearly deteriorated state of perception, does he even know what the constitutional limits are on the ability of a president to order people to wear a face mask? Hint, it's not in the Constitution. Hint, constitutionally, the president has no ability to make such a statement, to demand that the American people all over the country wear a face mask to suit his preferences. That's just not constitutional. But not only has Joe Biden clearly declined mentally since we've seen him a lot from the Obama administration 4 years ago, but also the Obama administration was the perhaps least constitutional presidency in my lifetime. There's a lot that Barack Obama did that was not constitutional in many meaningful ways. Bailed out by the Supreme Court, right? Who took Obamacare and turned it from a mandate to a tax. They actually, John Roberts actually had to rewrite the Constitution to rewrite the information that the Obama administration had brought forth. They blew it. They did not turn in a constitutional defense of Obamacare. Roberts had to adjust it to turn it into a tax, which would have been a legitimate presidential function, and so a congressional and presidential function. And so we find ourselves here in a situation where a declined mentally Joe Biden and working for an administration, his last public job as vice president, an administration that itself ignored the Constitution. We are entitled to ask ourselves, with his comment about the masks, but even more alarmingly, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Little Sisters of the Poor. Didn't really hit the free speech aspects of this, really punted the Supreme Court on religious liberty, but definitely made it clear that the president, Donald Trump, had the right to remove certain specifications from Obamacare that would allow the Little Sisters not to have to support or pay for contraception for their employees. Being a Roman Catholic organization, they do not support birth control. And so it wasn't really a win for the Little Sisters. It was a win for the president's ability to amend what Obama's Obamacare had said. But most alarmingly, Biden has come out now and said, like with the masks, that from day one, the first day he's put in office, he is going to return to Barack Obama's prior statement. He's going to ignore what the Chief Justice has said and go back and remove Donald Trump's protection of the Little Sisters and force them to knuckle under to the mandate. In other words, he is going to violate the Constitution by violating what the Supreme Court justice has said. The court has met and decided by a vote of 7-2 that Donald Trump, as president, can remove those parts of Obamacare that would otherwise hold accountable the Little Sisters of the Poor. Biden says, I'm going to ignore that precedent. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm going to ignore that precedent and go right back to what it was before, which raises a whole bunch of other really interesting questions about what power he does have and where the role of the Supreme Court is. Sooner or later, it's really a shame that the Supreme Court decided to punt that to defend the Little Sisters, not on the merits of the argument, but on the law, on the Obamacare mandate. That's going to be a problem we'll have to keep an eye on constitutionally in the next 4 years if Joe Biden is president. Don't just know your Constitution, live it. This has been Liberty News Hour. As always, you can go to thenewamerican.com and jbs.org for more information on these topics, as well as more shows.